whole thing. First of all, I want to thank you so much for making time to talk to me about the university's new entrepreneurship strategy, which I thought was really impressive when it launched last year, and I read it, and I think it really speaks to the commitment that the institution has had for many years to entrepreneurship, and I think it really builds on that. And I thought that what was impressive is that it seems to me that this is an attempt to take the initiatives that you've had over many years and really scale this up to be something which is much bigger. And I thought that was quite impressive. Just for the purposes of getting some information about the interview that we're having, can you explain a little bit about what your role is at the university and what your role has been in the strategy?
Yeah. Okay. So my role now is I'm one of the associate principals, and my responsibility is for entrepreneurship and education.
Yep.
I've been doing that role now for about a year. So that means I sit on the university's executive team. I think there's about 12 of us on that team. Prior to that, as you will know, for quite some time, I was head of the Hunter Centre for Entrepreneurship.
Yep.
And I think I was head for about 6 years. And then after that, I became vice dean within the business school with responsibility for external engagement. And then after that, I became the deputy dean of the business school. Effectively, it's called senior vice dean. So basically myself and the dean worked very closely. But it would probably be fair to say that most of my work has focused on external engagement, external collaboration, and principally within that entrepreneurial community.
Yeah.
And when I was interviewed and then got the job I'm in just now, and the principal, I'll give him his full title, Professor Sir Jim MacDonald.
Yeah.
I had to do a vision for him and an outline for him what I wanted to do, and the introduction of an institution-wide entrepreneurship strategy was my proposal to him.
Right.
So, Paul, it's taken me just short of a year to work with colleagues, to canvass support for this strategy from all across the university, not just the business school.
Yeah.
To design the strategy, to have it consulted with externally with our entrepreneurial partners, presented at ET, presented at court, accepted and launched. So when I put it all together like that, I think doing it in about we probably did it in about 10 months, and given the fact that COVID happened at the start of that, I think we've done okay.
I think that seems really quick to me that you were able to do it in that amount of time. And of course, it reads as a very comprehensive strategy. And I suppose it's because it's building upon all of the things that have gone before.
I think you're right, Paul. We weren't starting from nothing. We had a really good base. And what, just as you said, what we've tried to do is we've tried to pull everything together into this Strathclyde Inspire wrapper, if you like, because we want to be more integrated. We want to have more impact, but we also want to progress and take, if you like, we want to be transformational.
I think that really comes across. Now you can imagine, because I run the Entrepreneurial Mindset Network, that I was quite excited to see that your first strategic goal in the strategy is to develop entrepreneurial mindset. So I thought this was really interesting. How did that get to be the first goal in the strategy?
Okay, so the way that came about was there's 4 goals, which relates to 4 different work streams that make up Strathclyde Inspire, and sitting right at the heart of those is an approach that we call, and this is not novel at all, it's entrepreneurship for all. So we have an ambition that from 2025 onwards, every single Strathclyde student will have the opportunity to engage in an entrepreneurial experience as part of their degree. And if we can get as many of those entrepreneurial experiences to be credit-bearing experiences, even better. Now, you know what universities are like. That will be a challenge for us.
Of course.
Because many of our colleagues will just say, oh, no, there's none of the credits we have. They're all sacrosanct. They have to stay. There's no flexibility. So we'll work on that. So what we're doing is we're offering a range of credit-bearing and sort of extracurricular activities. And the reason we want to have, we're committed to entrepreneurship for all. We want to be able to instill in all of our students and will unlock their entrepreneurial potential and to try to release the entrepreneurial mindset that we believe is in there somewhere.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with this.
But primary and then secondary education have done their best over the years to try to just rub it out, to stamp it out, to be focused on academic achievement, to be focused on primarily, exams. And I'm the mother of two teenagers, so I've seen this happening to my own kids. So we're trying to create instances and scenarios that allow our students to, I think it's about giving them the permission to explore that side of themselves and their learning, and for us to help them recognise that actually that's what business needs right now. It needs more.
I completely agree with this. I think one of the interesting questions always in my mind over the years has been, if we agree that we want to have entrepreneurial students, then what does the academics need to be like? And can you have entrepreneurial students if you don't have entrepreneurial academics? I think another exciting thing in your strategy is a commitment to continuing professional development for your staff in the institution. And again, you talk about the opportunity to help them develop entrepreneurial thinking and behaviours. Can you tell me a little bit about how the CPD is going to work for the staff?
Yeah, so we have, like most universities, we have our own sort of organisational development unit that will provide directly or corrections to personal and professional development for colleagues. So they have teamed up with professors within and academics within the Hunter Centre, and they're co-designing a professional development intervention that again will look to work with academics to unlock their entrepreneurial potential. Going forward, what will happen is any new colleague joining us as part of their induction, they will have to do that component.
Right.
So they will have to be subjected, whether they like it or not, to the Strathclyde way of doing things, which is,
it's a great way of introducing new staff, isn't it, into your strategy and your way of working at Strathclyde. I think that's a really good thing. When you look back over all these years of experience you've had, and you'll be aware that there are other universities who are only just starting on this entrepreneurial journey. They're further behind, but they share this aspiration to understand what it is to be entrepreneurial and try and become more entrepreneurial as an institution. When you look back, what advice might you have for somebody who's just starting out on this journey? Where's a good place to begin?
Goodness me. I mean, okay, so this sounds really obvious. It's really important to have support from the top of the organisation that this is, this is important, this is good for the institution, it's good for its students, it's good for its staff. So we've been fortunate that Jim McDonald is,
He's provided real leadership on this, hasn't he?
And I can imagine in other institutions that might be more difficult because entrepreneurship might be regarded in a different way. So I think if it's possible to try to get the top level leaders to buy into it. I think that's good. The other thing that we've done at Strathclyde is someone taught me this phrase, and I've used it for such a long time now, but I've always just tried to attract the coalition of the willing. So rather than trying to convince people who just think, no, 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 that's fine. I just think there's some people who are never going to be convinced, or they I don't have enough time to get to where I want to be if it involves convincing all of the people that don't believe, if you like.
Yeah, no, I think this is really interesting question as well. I found throughout my career, it was really good to have conversations with those people, because I think to engage with them and understand their objections, I felt was helped me to be much clearer about how to convince them that this was for everybody. And I think that, you know, allowing those objections to be part of the dialogue, I found was really important, because listening to those voices, I think, engages them. And I think it's right to try and understand what their objections are. So, you know, generally when I'm promoting the entrepreneurial mindset, I think that one of the first objections people can have is that, in principle, they object to the idea of entrepreneurship because they see unethical practice by some entrepreneurs. And you know what that helped me to understand is that when I'm talking about what an entrepreneurial mindset is about, I now am able to say to people, it is about ethical behavior. It's not about exploiting people or resources. It is thinking about how to be sustainable. And you know, listening to those objections, I think, helped me to clarify that ethical behavior is so important when you're talking about having an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah, I do agree with you, and certainly the discussions I've had with people who didn't share my point of view have helped me sharpen up my arguments or my my position whenever I want to try to get that across. But I think you're right. But we've always tried to keep the momentum going and to make fast progress. I've worked with a coalition of the willing. Now, I'm really lucky at Strathclyde because the coalition of the willing is pretty big.
It is, yeah.
So it's not been the same challenge at Strathclyde that it would be elsewhere. The other thing that we have at Strathclyde that I think has just been brilliant, we've got the support of the student union and the student executives. So they are part. We have representatives from the student union, the student exec, so we have a committee or a group. Committee is not wrong. This is the wrong word. We have a group called Entrepreneurship for All. We meet every 2 weeks, and it's quite big. I mean, it was probably about between 20 and 30 people. If everyone was able to turn up at every single meeting, there'd be 20 to 30 people, and it is made up of colleagues from across each of the 4 faculties at Strathclyde, colleagues from all of the professional services at Strathclyde, and representatives from students, and also some of our external partners who join us. And it's very, very action focused. So to begin with, I treated it like a sprint project. So probably March and April, I was meeting them every single day, and we just built momentum really, really quickly. And we then realised we'd done a lot and we didn't need to meet. So it's kind of gone from meeting every day, twice a week, to once a week. And now we think once a fortnight is fine.
Is it true, would you say? I mean, it seems to me from the outside, it seems to me that the success that you're having and how far you've progressed on your journey is that you have spent a long time building up very strong relationships, collaborations, partnerships, which integrate you and engage you fully in your local ecosystem.
Yes, I think so, Paul. And one of the things that's happened most recently has been, and I say most recently, it's a couple of years now, is the introduction of Glasgow City Innovation District. So the university is an anchor partner there, and because we are a city centre university, It makes it very easy for us to engage with that local community. We're right in the heart of the merchant city, which of course has, I can't wait till we get back, but it has
Yeah,
bars, it has
yeah,
restaurants, it has music venues. So all of the things that you need to make up an entrepreneurial ecosystem, you know, talent is there, a university is there, clusters
yeah.
of entrepreneurial ventures, and then all of the culture that wraps around that. So we're fortunate that we've got all of the ingredients that you would want to have.
Absolutely, yeah. Your
Um,
location is fantastic, and there's a real vibrancy, isn't there? And
yeah,
an ease of connection, and the university is just part of that city. It's not sort of separated. All these things located together and easy for people to engage with all of those wonderful activities.
yeah, absolutely. And what we hope with Strathclyde Inspire is that we want to make it. So I've been talking recently about being a porous institution,
Yeah,
and I think Strathclyde gives us so Strathclyde's always been very externally focused, very engaged. But I think what Strathclyde Inspire gives us is the opportunity to pull it all together and to provide a one-stop. So if you want to come and speak with us, there should be one virtual door that you can come in, and we can then direct you. And once we're back on campus, we will have, well, it's been built just now, but we will have a new entrepreneurship hub. It will be right in the centre of Glasgow City Innovation District. It will have an open door policy. So when you walk into the hub, it will be a cafe that's there. It will be welcoming. It will be a place that all sorts of people can drop in and out of. And of course, we will have staff dotted about, able to direct people to where they might want to go to. Um, so this idea of being very, very porous, very, very open.
yeah,
I think that's how entrepreneurial communities and entrepreneurs are. And I think that openness is part of the entrepreneurial mindset. So
yeah,
institutionally, if we can maintain that openness despite the restrictions of COVID, despite Brexit, despite the threat of independence, despite all of these different things, if we can
yeah,
stay,
yeah.
if
No,
we can stay as open as possible.
yeah, it's great because just to see the enthusiasm with which you're talking about the strategy, um, really communicates to me that that strategy is not a document, it's not a piece of paper, it's a living set of activities, a
Yeah,
dynamic thing which is going on in this university. And congratulations on the new strategy, and really all the best for continuing this amazing journey that you're on.
what I'll do, Paul.